guys, welcome back to Happy Campers. Hope everybody's having a great day, great break, great holiday, and hope everybody had a Merry Christmas. I know I did, and I enjoyed the time off and spending time with my family. We start every episode with a quote, and we are going to start this one the exact same. Here we go. Change might not be fast, and it isn't always easy, but with time and effort, almost any habit can be reshaped. I think that's the perfect quote to talk about because it ends with any habit can be reshaped. It doesn't have to just say starting a new habit, right? Also molding our other habits, right? The habits that are decent right now that we can work upon and get better, and also maybe even ixnaying a bad habit completely. So it's the 26th of December, right? Well, that's what it is when this is released, but you know, who knows what day you're listening to this on. New Year's is coming around, right? 2020 is coming around. As again, I don't know when you're listening to this on, but the new year is coming around, and that's the time for New Year's resolutions and, you know, new habits, new goals. Everybody wants to do it. Everyone wants a clean slate. So I think it's perfect to talk about. And, you know, for me, just like you guys who are in school, right? The other ones who you guys are in college is starting again. Spring semester 2020 starting in about 3 weeks, right? That's 21 days. And that brings us to our first topic, right? Everyone's heard about this. 21 days to create a habit, 90 days to create a lifestyle. Now, there's a lot of evidence that surrounds that, but it's not, you know, it's not a law. It's more of just a theory, right? And everyone, it's a very individual thing. Everyone is a little bit different. There's plenty of habits for me personally that I can click into within 5 days. Like, boom, it's a habit of mine, boom, boom, boom. And there's plenty of habits that'll take me forever to, right? So it's not even just the person. Sometimes it has to do with the specific habit at hand. So with that being said, there's 3 weeks until school starts. So you could literally be a whole different person by the time your spring semester rolls around. And that's what I'm hoping to do. I'm going to share with y'all one of my habits that I hope I'm going to get in line, in check. I'm going to check myself. And that's a huge reason why I like this podcast, and I get to check myself over and over again. So yeah, 21 days to create a habit and 90 days to create a lifestyle. Change might not be fast and it isn't always easy, but with time and effort, almost any habit can be reshaped. Anything that is new is hard. Anything that is new is hard. It's hard. It's new. So the people who are geniuses at calculus now, or you know, statistics or astrophysics, there was a time in their life when it was really, really hard, you know, or at least challenging. It was challenging at a time. Yes, there's plenty of things, you know, the basketball star who's just, you know, LeBron James, maybe it was always easy to him, but it wasn't. He would tell you there are plenty of aspects of his game and of the basketball game that's really hard. That was really hard that he had to work through. He had to shape. He had to create the correct habits, the correct form, you know, or whatever it is. He had to get better at it because it was new. It was new. Things that are hard are new. Things that are new are hard. Once you get used to them, they're not that hard much more. They're not that hard much more. They're not that hard anymore. You get better at it. So what can we do? I've searched a lot of stuff on the webs, right? Found a lot of psychologist websites and psychology articles, and I've found a lot of, you know, scientific experimental studies, observational studies. And I pulled together a list of about 5 tips here. So we're going to go in order there, and we're going to really talk about them. Number one, start small. Start with inside your goal. So, right, you have to have your main goal in mind. But with that main goal in mind, start small. And make it so small that it is so easy. There is no friggin' way you are not going to do it. A great example of this is that I have written down is, so say you want to do 50 push-ups per day. Start with just saying you're going to do 5 per day. Rather than meditating for 10 minutes per day, start by meditating for 1 minute per day. Make it so easy that it can get done without motivation at all, right? 50 push-ups is what you want to get to. Start with 5. You cannot persuade me that you do not have 5 minutes of your day. Not 5 minutes of your day. You don't if you want to do 50 push-ups, that's probably 5 minutes. You don't have 10 seconds of your day to drop down. Even if it's the first thing in the morning, last thing at night, whatever it is, you don't have 5 seconds to drop down and do 5 push-ups. Are you serious? You're lying. That it takes absolutely no motivation, and you can do it. I don't care if you got to put your goddamn knees on the ground. Get to it. No problem. There ain't nothing wrong with that. And the reason why you want to start small, psychologists say, is that willpower and discipline are like muscles. You need to train them. They can develop, you can work through progress, right? You can develop them just as muscles. You need to train willpower. That was something I got into like this last year, because I was slacking for a while. I know if you guys know me and you follow me on my Instagram, Marshal Kramer, shout out to him once again, or any of my other platforms, you will see that I was lacking motivation for a while. I was one of the most motivated of my life when I was in high school, grinding, I hate that word, working really hard, working out a lot, school, sports, whatever, but I just enjoyed it. And I went to college, was at the top of my game for a while, and then, towards the end of it, and I kind of moved back, so about 2 years ago, but for about a whole 9 months, I really just lacked motivation, and I really didn't understand it, and I thought I just gave up, or I thought it would have to snap, right? We talk about 180s, just the light switches. I thought it was just one day it was going to just switch on, and I was going to be ready to rock and roll again. And it didn't work like that. And I kept listening to people talk about it. I think maybe it was Joe Rogan. Yeah. Because the snowball effect in the one day, he's like, just start with 1x. Have a calendar and cross off one day when you have a good day. All it takes is one good day to get that snowball rolling. And I was sitting there and I heard probably somebody else talk about it too, and said that willpower, determination, mindset, that's like a muscle. You can train those things. You can have it be so, you can neglect it for so long and have it be so horrible and low for so long, and you can slowly train it. You can slowly get those motivation and determination snowballs rolling. So when I first heard about that, wow, that helped me out. I really hope you guys think about that too. Willpower and discipline are like muscles. You need to train them to progress. Motivation rises and falls, right? All the time. We talk about life. Life is a big series of ups and downs. So there's going to be days where you're feeling like there's going to be days where you're feeling like, oh my God, yes, I can do anything. But it's not about those days, right? Oh, I worked out 4 times this week. Okay, well, what days are those? Oh, they were X, Y, Z, whatever. They were all the days I was feeling really good. The other 3 days I wasn't feeling that good. Okay, so in my eyes, well, what were you doing? You didn't have any motivation, so you didn't go? What? That doesn't make no sense. Where's that discipline? That discipline's got to back that motivation. Willpower's got to back that motivation. Motivation rises and falls. But if you train your motivation, you train your discipline, right? Your determination, your willpower, boom. Did I say train your motivation? No, I just said that. Motivation's going to come and go. But you train your determination, you train your willpower, you train, your discipline. Boom. When those days of motivation are lacking, when you're on your lows, which they come a dime a dozen, man. Those days probably come more. Joe Rogan talked about it too. I like that he said that. I think he said, if I only worked out when I felt good, I would be a fat piece of shit. And I agree with that. I would say, honestly, if I only worked out when I was feeling good, I would work out 2 times a week. That's probably it. That's all I probably would work out would be 2 times a week. But when in the midst of when my motivation is low, at its lowest, just nothing, right? I know through my training these last few months, and my whole entire life, right, that willpower and determination and discipline is going to back it up. It's not the most motivated guys that win, right? It's not everyone can be motivated, and motivation, that's just subjective. Who knows? That's what you create in your mind, motivation. It's the most disciplined guys. They win. The guys with the most willpower, determination, those guys win. Stanford professor B.J. Fogg calls this the motivation wave. Solve this problem by picking a habit that is easy enough that you don't need motivation to do it. So again, you want to get to 50 push-ups a day, start by doing 5. You want to meditate for 10 minutes a day, start by doing 1. Make it so freaking easy that you would be like, what am I doing? How did I not do 5 push-ups today? And if you said that to yourself, how did I not do 5 push-ups a day? That means you have enough time to drop down and do 5 push-ups. Oh, you didn't meditate for 10 minutes today, but yeah, guess what? You're just meditating 1. So when you're laying in your bed and you're about to go to sleep, close your eyes, shut everything off, tune out, and just meditate for that last minute of your evening. Number 2, this one is great. Just trickling on to that small. Start small. Think about getting 1% better each day. 1.01 compounded for an entire year is 37.78. While I don't have this written down, but I believe it's 0.99 compounded throughout the year is 0.03. So getting 1% worse every day. So getting 1% better every day, you'll be at a 37.78. That's, I did my math here, but I want to hold that. That's 370.78% better, right? So 365 days, yes. You're getting 370% better than you were on day one. Holy shoot skis, right? I may be completely wrong on that, but I believe that's right. Better every year. So just think about getting 1% better each day. 1% better each day. So no, you don't have to, if you're trying to get to that end goal of 50 push-ups, you don't have to on day 2 do 6. Just make those a little bit better. Make those 5 push-ups a little bit better. Make those 5 push-ups a little bit faster, or maybe a little slower, maybe more time under tension. You don't have to start meditating 2 minutes a day, then 3 minutes a day, all the way to 10. No. You do your day 1 with 1 minute, and the next day be like, okay, where was I lacking? Was I really concentrating? Did I shut all my stuff off? What can I do? Was it good at night? Maybe I should do it in the morning, right? Reflect on it and just make it a little bit better. Just a little bit better. That can be anything, man. So you're trying to cut down for a diet, right? You don't have to just cut everything out and just be like, all right, chicken and rice and broccoli for the next 5 days. No, man. Just cut one little thing out each day. If you have to do it that way, do it that way. It is not that big of a deal. If you have to go, okay, instead of having 6 cookies a night, I'm just going to have 5.5. Whatever you got to do, man, do it. Just think about getting 1% better. Number 3, break habits into chunks. If you continue adding 1% each day, then you'll find yourself increasing very quickly within 2 or 3 months. It is important to keep each habit reasonable so that you can maintain momentum and make the behavior as easy as possible to accomplish. So, you're building up to do that 10 minutes of meditation, split into 2 segments of 5 at first. You're trying to do those 50 push-ups, 5 sets of 10 might be easier as you make your way there. So again, breaking into chunks, right? Kind of talk about just getting 1% better. But no, this is a little bit different. It's getting all those done. So you're not just doing those 50 push-ups a day. You are doing 50 push-ups a day, but you're not just doing those 50 push-ups in one setting. Now, 5 times throughout the day, you're getting to do 10 push-ups, right? And to equal 50 push-ups a day. Just breaking those into chunks, just being like, all right, whew. We don't have to always do that, right? You're trying to read some more, right? That was one that I started last January. Before this is kind of funny. Before last year, right? So around January, I would have been 19 years old. I did not read a book cover to cover since 6th grade when we had like reading challenges, and it was like Diary of the Wimpy Kid. Any book that I had to read in college, it was, or high school even, it was Spark Notes, movies if they had it, Cliff Notes, whatever I need to do to get my way through, because I did not like reading. So my habit last year that is carried on now, that I do every single morning now, I just love it. I took 1 month off. I was kind of lost for a little bit. I was kind of transitioning in my life, and I really wasn't getting things done, and I knew that it was really good for me, so I want to get back on it, and I have. But anyway, I wanted to read more. I wanted to read, honestly, I was thinking like 30 pages a day, and I was getting to that. I actually started that right away. I was like 30 pages, boom. And I was doing that right away. 30 pages just in the morning, boom, 30 pages. And I was starting to find that I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't able to, the thing that I struggle with reading is I'm a little bit slow. Yeah, but there's a lot of people that read slow, but my comprehension, right? You're reading 1 page, and then you start page 2, and you're like, oh man, I wonder what I'm going to have for lunch today, as you're continuing to read. And the next thing you know, you read that entire page and you're like, what the frick did I just read? You know what I'm saying? So I don't think I was ready yet. I haven't trained my brain to comprehend reading that well. So I started to break it into chunks. I was doing, about 10 pages 3 times a day. Right away in the morning, I would go work out, right when I came back from my workout, and then right before I went to bed. So I had to break it into chunks for a while. And now I've done that until I was able to train my brain to understand how to comprehend. I could definitely comprehend 10 pages at a time. It took a while. Holy moly, did it take a while. But again, change might not be fast, and it isn't always easy, but with time and effort, almost any habit can be reshaped. So it took a lot of time, but I was able to start comprehending it better, 10 pages at a time. And then I was like, okay, so maybe let's do this. Let's do 2 15s. Oh, guess what? After a few weeks, I was able to comprehend reading 15 pages at a time. So bada bing, bada boom. And it kept trickling up. 20. I did maybe a 20 page session, and then I did a 10 paid session at night, and also now I'm up to 30, and I do 30 right away in the morning. I got all the way to 30, so that was pretty cool. So yeah, remember that. Just breaking those things into chunks just makes them more manageable. And the reason the chunks are so successful and in motivation is because we achieve something. We feel that we achieve something. We're like, you didn't just achieve your 50 push-ups each day. You really felt like you achieved by doing at each of those 10 push-ups. I really felt like I was achieving every single time I read 10 of those pages. I didn't just feel accomplished at the end of the night when I read 30 pages. I felt accomplished in the morning before my workout. I felt accomplished after my workout when I read again, and I felt accomplished after I read my other 10 pages that night, and then at the end, I got the whole macro sense. I'm like, Jesus, and I read 30 pages today. Good for me. So it kind of helps with that snowball, kind of helps us get to it. This is a great one. Number 4. This one is really, really good. This is the most key, and Joe Rogan talks about it. Do this for me. Do this for you if this helps best for you. When I quit marijuana, what I did was on the day that I was going to do it, I went on, freecalendars.com, whatever it is, and just a box of 30 or 31 boxes, whatever it is, for the month. And I start by crossing off with a red marker, right? And all I want to do is keep seeing that chain of red X's, started with 1. Then I got 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6, then 7. And then you get to the point where you're like, oh my God, dude, I do not want to break this chain. I do not want to break this chain. I visually saw it. I visually saw myself putting X's down, right? The X's represented me not smoking. So after I got, 6 days, 12 days, 14, 20, I'm like, no way. Now I'm at 120 or something, 130. Like I don't have it anymore with me, but I keep, I could find it if I wanted to. I know I'm well over 100 days. Why the hell would I want to break it? Same thing for you. If you were doing 5 push-ups a day and you were doing 10 push-ups a day, you were reading 10 pages a day, you were meditating 10 minutes a day, whatever it is, once you start seeing those X's visually, you wouldn't want to stop. There's no way you want to stop. You visually get to see it, and you visually see your X's of momentum, your snowballs of momentum rolling, and you're like, I don't want to break this chain. I can't break this chain. You don't want to see an empty white box. That's disappointing. Oh man, that's disappointing. But anyway, what number 4 was, if you do see that white box, if you do miss, get back on track. Okay? That's the number 1, guys. I know it's number 4, but that is it. Get back on track, right? So you want to do 5 push-ups, you didn't do it, do it tomorrow. If you want to be a boss, double up, 10 push-ups the next day. You didn't read 30 pages, you only read 10, the next day, read 50. Make back what you did, or even double up, do 60. Whatever you got to do, get back on track. Do not ever make it 2. Once you make it 2, you start to get a little bit, I'm not going to say habits, right? Because it's not 21 days, but you start to get a little bit of opposite momentum. Your snowball starts to go back down the other way. Never make it 2. And what makes this easier is plan for failures and setbacks, right? So this one's the best one, because this was one I know most people out here are going to do. Diet. You want to get healthier this year? You want to go to the gym? You want to start training and eat healthier? So plan that after a week or 2, you're going to be like, F this, and it's going to be January 14th, and your friends are going to be like, hey, you want to come on and party? It's the second Friday of January, let's go to the party. Maybe you're going to go do it. Plan for that. Who the F cares? There's if you plan for it, right? We talk about expectations, never set them, but this is for yourself, so I guess you could. If you set the expectation that you're going to have a setback once or twice in the first month, here's what's going to happen. 1 or 2 things are going to happen. Either you're going to actually be set back once or twice, and you're going to have met your expectations. No harm, no foul. You planned for it, you expected it, and you didn't make it 2 days in a row, and you got yourself back on track. Or, even better, you planned to fail twice in the first month. And guess what? It didn't happen. You didn't fail once. Now guess what? You didn't just get 28 out of the 30 days good. You got 30 out of 30. You planned for failures. You planned for setbacks. You made expectations, honestly, that you were going to do so, and you didn't do it. Bro, pat yourself on the back and then keep it going. Keep those snowballs going. Keep those snowballs going. I don't care what you got to do. I don't care what you got to do and make it visual or how you got to do it, man. That's it right there. Keep the snowballs going. What is it? Newton's third law of inertia. Object in motion tends to stay in motion, while an object in rest tends to stay in rest. That is why many of the folks in this world, just like me, right? It's hard to get out of bed. I call myself a diesel because it takes a little bit for me to get going. But once I get going, there's no way I'm going to stop. I will take a nap. I use a nap a lot, but honestly, I don't nap. Like, I don't nap because I sleep 8.5 hours every night. I'm good. But it takes a lot for me to get out of the bed in the morning. It does. Just like it takes a lot to start that diesel in the cold weather. You got to have it. You got to have it tethered up. You got to make sure that battery's warm. So when you're laying in bed, you do not want to roll out of bed. Oh my God, you do not want to roll out of bed. But the moment you get out of bed, right, you put your robe on, you get the house a little warm, you're moving around, get your body warm, your temperature's coming back up, you have your coffee, whatever it is, and you get rolling. Tell me how many times you want to just go lay down. It doesn't happen that often. Unless you had a bad night's sleep, you're just miserable, whatever. But it doesn't happen that often. Once you start rolling, you're good. Same with your habits. Once you start getting them rolling, you are good. I keep leaving all the quotes to the end, so I'm not going to do that this time. I'm going to go back to one of the quotes I have here is, the truth is that everyone is bored and devotes himself to cultivating habits. I'm going to read that again. The truth is that everyone is bored and devotes himself to cultivating habits. Man, I think that's true. I think we talked about it I talked about it with my friend Frankie on episode 19 of addiction. I said, I don't think people are addicts necessarily. We're addicts of addiction. We're addicts of habits. I believe we are habitual creatures. I think all creatures are. All creatures are. Right? That's why when you're so used, I know it's your circadian rhythm too, but you're so used to waking up at 8 o'clock, and then you're used to going to bed at 11:30 midnight, and you wake up at 8 o'clock, and then one night you stay up till 3, but yet you wake up at 8 o'clock. You're like, what? I only got 5 hours of sleep, and yet I still woke up at 8 o'clock. It's just in us. It's innate within us. We're so habitual. We want to do what we did the day before. We want to talk the way we did before the day before. We want to act the way we did the day before. We want to eat the way we did the day before. We like to do today what we did yesterday. We are habitual creatures. Cultivating habits, absolutely. Another one I'm going to read is, the chains of habit are too weak to be felt until they are too strong to be broken. Whoo, that's a big one. If that doesn't tell you to keep going, keep going. So what that means to me, right? The chains of habits are too weak to be felt. You don't even realize it. You don't even realize how, like, going to the gym. That's one of mine. I've been doing it for years now. I don't even realize how how important it is for me to go to the gym for my physical health, right? So me just feeling energized, me feeling motivated, et cetera, and my mental health, me feeling happy, me feeling good, me feeling, self confident, right? I don't realize how important that is until I would happen to skip a day, right? I would happen to think about not going, or I didn't go, and I feel the next day, I'm like, dang it, I feel really low today. Yesterday I felt really de-energized. Now today I feel really unmotivated. What is going on? If I look back, I go, well, I haven't worked out in 36 hours. Like, oh my God, I didn't realize how strong of a bond my body had to working out, right? They're too weak to be felt until they're too strong to be broken. So I was like, oh, no, there's no way I can stop working out. There's no way I can make it 2 days in a row. Even though, again, this wasn't that I just skipped, right? I should say I rested. So, because it's obviously habitual of mine. This is a very, very strong habit of mine. So it was a day of rest, and I'm like, I needed that day of rest. Glad I did it, but I don't need 2 days of rest, and I wouldn't want 2 days of rest. My body cannot have 2 days of rest because I am going to be antsy. I am going to be tired. I am going to be unmotivated, et cetera. Hey. Talk about that because I love fitness, and it's the New Year's. New Year's is coming up here, and again, going back to the number one is getting healthy. Everyone wants to get healthy. Hey, so there's plenty of, there's three aspects, right? There's three main aspects. There's the training, there's the diet, and there's the sleeping. Which one? What should I start first with? What should I start for? What is most important? What should I do, Marshall? I don't even know. I don't know. And you just give up not doing any of it. First off, those three in order of importancy is sleep, diet, and then exercise. If you sleep well and you have a great diet, you will look great. You can have abs, you can have veins, your jawline, whatever you want. You may be a little bit skinnier, right? You may not have a lot of muscle because you haven't trained your muscle, but you can look good and feel really good by just having good sleep and a diet. But if you're trying to start a habit, it's honestly the reverse 3. Start with training. Worry about training. Your good 4 or 5 days a week of training. And then worry about a good set of diet. Because if you do the training first, if you train 4 or 5 times a week, days when you train, you will realize you don't even want to eat that bad. There's the chemicals that get released, the serotonin and dopamine that get released, and I don't know exactly what else, but this is from plenty of other. This is all analytical, right? I think you could probably find some evidence behind this too, but this is analytical for me at least, and all of my other lifting friends and plenty of other people that I know and YouTubers and et cetera, et cetera. The days that you work out and you're in that workout train, right? You've worked out the last 4 days. Trust me, you are not going to want to eat bad. So boom, that's already taken care of for you. You don't even have to worry about putting too much effort into eating healthy because you're going to want to. You already put an hour into the gym. You can't out train a bad diet. So you already went in and put an hour of your effort. You went hard. Why the heck would you want to come home and eat a bunch of potato chips? That literally just erased everything you just did. Why would you want to do that to yourself? You wouldn't. It's innate within us. It's going to happen every now and again. I shouldn't say wouldn't, and I'll never say never. I don't like to say it never, but it will happen. So yeah, start with that training, and then guess what? When you train an hour a day, 4 or 5 times a week, and then you're eating healthy, that sleeping gonna come. You were gonna sleep nice. My parents were talking to me, whatever. They were like, my dad the other day, he stayed up and watched a football game, and then he said that he felt he woke up at 3:30 or whatever. I'm like, well, you didn't work out yesterday. And yeah. Just the days when you work out, you're gonna sleep a lot easier. Think about all my sports players out there. Think about the day you had that big game. You slept nice that night, didn't you? Oh yeah, you slept nice that night. Or vice versa. Your brain uses a lot of your caloric intake. Those days you had a lot of studying to do, or you had a lot of tests to take. I bet you took a fat nap, or you slept really, really nice. When you utilize yourself, right, you get all that extra energy and anxiety outside your body. Boom, you're gonna be sleeping well. So yes, in order of importancy, it's sleep, diet, then exercise. But in order of getting on track and building the habit of a healthy lifestyle, opposite. Start with exercising first, because it will lead to you wanting to eat well. And you exercising an hour a day and eating well will lead to sleeping peacefully like a little baby. And number 5, right? Going back to our first quote we started off, change might not be fast, and it isn't always easy. Is it ever really easy? Come on. But with time and effort, almost any habit can be reshaped. Number 5, learn to be patient. It takes time. If you're adding weight in the gym, you should probably go slower than you think. This one's great. I'm thinking, first off, you add that out through a year. That's 52 weeks. If you were to add 5 pounds, I don't have my calculator with me, right? 5 pounds on your bench every single week for 52 weeks. Isn't that 250 pounds, plus the 2, so another week. So it would be, 260 pounds. Isn't that 260 pounds a year to add to your bench? Holy Jesus. If anyone knows anything about lifting, that's a lot of weight. It's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. But your first few weeks of lifting, you might be adding 5 pounds a week, and then it's going to slowly go to 5 pounds a month, 5 pounds every 2 months. Just shit happens. It takes a lot of time to build strength and build muscle. So understand it. Progress goes slower than you probably think it should. It probably definitely will think it, because you are going to set high expectations for yourself and you want things to go fast. We live in an instant gratification world, right? You want to start training week 1, and by end of month 1, you want to be 100 pounds heavier in all of your lifts, right? Who doesn't? If you're adding daily sales calls to your business strategy, right, you should probably start with fewer than expected to handle. If you want to start, you're going out there and you're trying to find investors for your business, i.e. Marshal Kramer. I want to get to the point where I'm calling 10 potential investors each week. Maybe I should start with just trying to call 2 a week. Maybe I should start with that. Check. Done it. And then slowly build your way up. Week 3, maybe I should do 4. Start of month 2, maybe I should do 5. Boom. And then by the end of month 2, maybe I'm up to those 10 sales calls, 10 potential investor calls a week. Progress is slow, and understand that it all takes time, and you have that end goal in mind. Never lose sight of that end goal. You have to start with that end goal. Where do you want to be? Is it 50 push-ups? Okay, now 50 push-ups a day. Now let's backtrack to how we can get there. What can we do? We can make it super simple. We can start with 5 push-ups a day. And then for that whole entire first week, we make sure every single day we do those 5 push-ups better. Week 3, week 2, we're doing 7, 8, whatever it is. And we're making, and then at that whole entire week, we're making those 7 or 8 better. And then et cetera, until you get to 50 push-ups a day in one setting, because in between there, you were bracketing, you were maybe doing 5 sets of 10, but once you got to that end goal, whenever it is, maybe a year from now, yes, 50 push-ups in a day, maybe a year from now, whatever it does, whatever it takes, it's going to take time. No big deal. Don't sweat it. Realize you want that end goal, and you're going to do whatever it takes to get to that end goal. This is a really good one. Sorry about that. I didn't have this one written down because I didn't find it on the internet. It's actually from the book that I really like, and I'm going to set this book. This book, I read it a while ago, but I may read it again, and I might set it as January's book of the month, because god darn it, it's good. And it's called The One Thing by somebody else and Gary Keller. Gary Keller is also the author of The Millionaire Real Estate Investor, and if you ever heard of the real estate business Keller and Williams, that is Gary Keller. So he was the author of this book called The One Thing, and I've talked about it several times on this podcast, and he basically just says to you, every single day you have to say this line. What is the one thing I can do today in which doing so makes everything else easier, or honestly, maybe not even necessary to do it all. So that's what this whole gist of the book about. It's a phenomenal book. The One Thing by Gary Keller. Check it out. But within that book, he has the domino effect. And I've heard this plenty of other times too, but it states that a domino can knock down something 1.5 times as big as itself. So going to those 50 push-ups, you want to do 50 push-ups a day. Start by doing 10, right? That's your first domino. And as it leans forward and knocks down, it's going to knock down the next domino of 15. And that's week 2 or 3. Now you're doing 15 push-ups a day. And that 15's going to knock over. And as it knocks over, it's going to knock down its next domino, a time and a half its size, which is 23. And now you're doing 23 push-ups a day on week 4, right? And in week 4, you were going back to, getting better. The week 4, all you were doing is making those 23 push-ups better, whether it's faster, slower to get time under tension, better form, whatever it is, you're on that 23. And as that 23 domino falls over, it knocks over that domino of 40 or of 35, right? A time and a half its size. It knocks down that domino over of 35. And you start of month 2, you're doing 35 a day. This may be fast. This may be fast for you. So don't compare yourself to this example. I'm just making an example here. So start of month 2, you have that domino of 35, and you're knocking that domino over. And the moment that domino of 35 knocks over, boom, it knocks over the domino of 50, because 50 is a time, I think 52 what it would be, but is a time and a half its size. So 1, 2, 3, 4 topples, 5 dominoes, and you got to your end goal. That right there it goes back to the first and second stuff about starting small and then getting 1% better each day. Just slowly getting better. So business calls, you want to get to 10 business calls, right? Start with 2 each week. You want to get to 10 business calls each week. Start with 2, and that'll knock over the domino of 3. And that domino will knock over to domino of 4.5, and that domino will knock over 6. I don't know math. And that domino will knock over 7.8, and then that domino will knock over 10. Boom, 5 dominoes, 4 falls, and there you are. You got to it. You took the domino effect. We are creatures of habits, so we might as well make good ones. Yes, and this is going back to we are creatures of habit, so you might as well make him a good one. And this is one of the quotes that I have because it ties in with it. A man who can't bear to share his habits is a man who needs to quit them. Absolutely, man. Abso-friggin-lutely. I didn't like to share my habits that I was a stoner, right? With all my stoner buddies I did. I didn't like to tell my parents it, my siblings, my loved ones. I didn't want to tell them I was a stoner, right? Not that marijuana is such a bad deal, right? But also, I wasn't using it correctly. I wasn't even using it recreationally. I was abusing it. So I wasn't proud of that habit. I didn't like to share it. So guess what it needed to do? It needed to be cut. I didn't like a few months ago that I was drinking every day, right? Having 2 or 3 drinks at lunch, getting tipsy during the day, passing out for an hour, wasting between all of those things, wasting 2.5, 3 hours. Maybe I got to recover a little bit, right? 3 hours of my afternoon. I didn't share that with anybody. Except for you guys and, people now, because it was embarrassing. That habit needed to be cut off. We are creatures of habit. We like to do what we did the day before. And if you cannot bear to share your habits, then guess what? They need to be cut. The last point I have here is great because this kind of brings it all into conclusion. And I really want to do it. I have this episode written down. I really want to do it. I'm probably going to do it at the end of January, as I got a bunch of other episodes I want to talk about first too. Have a strong social circle and group of friends and support and care around you. That's huge, right? The people that are there for you, and what they want from you, right? What they want for you. You tell them you want this goal, and they're there to keep you accountable. They're there to support you. They're there to be there for you when you expect to fail and set back, and they're ready to rebound you the next day. Say, hey man, you knew you were gonna fail. No big deal. It was your day of failure. Get back on your high horse. Get going, baby. Get those X's going. Get that snowball rolling again. No biggly wiggly. No shabadoo. Right? Good. Get it back on you. Friends are important. Family is important. And tell them that too. Tell them your journey, right? Everyone likes to go on Facebook, Instagram, wherever, and they like to make their New Year's resolutions. Do that. Definitely do that. And go even further, right? So that you're letting all your acquaintances know that. Let them all know that. So so you put it out there, right? You should be embarrassed if you don't make that goal because you set that goal and expectations for yourself. No one else did. So go achieve it. Go live it. But also reach out to the ones you really, really love and tell them exactly what you're going to do and exactly how you think you're going to get there, and ask them if they're willing to keep you accountable, if they're willing to message you once a week, if they're willing to come over, whatever, or do it with you. You both want to lose weight together, right? Have a buddy, whatever it is. You both want to start meditating, do yoga together, practice it out, practice just sitting in silence together, whatever it is. Friends, family, loved ones, people around you to support and care for you. Whoo! It don't just make habits easier, man. It makes everything else easier. In my opinion, it makes everything else worth it. That's the whole reason, right? Going back to episode 18, I believe, on loneliness, man. Hey, I don't get a little philosophical on you here. I don't find too much purpose in this world. I don't think we as an individual have a lot of purpose. But to the universe, to the billions of years and infinite lifetime of the universe, but to everyone around us, we mean the world, and we have all the purpose in the world. They define our purpose, so they mean everything to us. So tell them they mean everything to you, and then let them know, hey, I want to do this because I want to be healthier. I want to be better. I want to be a better person, not just for me, for you. And I want you, because I love you and I care what you think about me. I want you to hold me accountable. And ask them too. Don't just tell them that. Ask them if they're willing to keep you accountable, because not everyone's comfortable doing it. But if they really, really love you, they're a really true friend, I guarantee they're willing to make you accountable. And once again, I've read all my quotes, but I have to say this one again. I think it's like the 6th time. Change might not be fast, and it isn't always easy. But with time and effort, almost any habit can be reshaped. 3 more weeks until school starts for most of us. 21 days to create a habit, 90 days to create a lifestyle. You can be a whole different habitual person by the time of your spring semester rolls around. I'm going to do it. You should do it. Oh my God. I didn't even tell you what my plan is, what my thing is. Going back to what we're talking about. I want to stop drinking. I want to stop having any vices. I want to stop. Not that I need to get rid of it forever, but I want to stop having it control all, or be like, okay, I only have fun when I'm smoking or drinking. All right, I got rid of smoking, right? But now I find myself, I'm not gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm an honest man. I bought a pack of cigs last Sunday. A pack of cigarettes. That's disgusting. 20 pack of cigarettes. First off, I'm frugal and I was $9 or some shit, right? And I was smoking them. And oh my God, was it affecting me so hard in the gym? Not my lungs, but my motivation. Because when you start doing a lot of things, you start smoking a lot, vaping, whatever, drinking, eating shitty food, that becomes your high of the day. So that becomes your motivation. So even though lifting can release so many endorphins and et cetera, it doesn't release as much as those vices and habits and addictions do. Those are drugs basically, right? So they release a lot more, and we feel them more, and they're easy. They make you feel so good, right? They only make you feel good for a few hours, and then you're freaking crashed, and it's horrible. It's the loop effect. And then once you crash and you feel bad, and you say, I'm never doing this again, and the next day you do it again, it's because that loop effect. We have, as humans, we have this inability to remember the bad things. All we do is remember the good things. Just like when you break up from somebody, a toxic relationship. It is so great that you broke up with that person, but yet all you remember is the good times. You forget about all of the mean things they said to you when they beat you, et cetera, et cetera. That's the loop effect. Loop effect. All we like to do is remember the good times. We forget how detrimental the bad times were to us. So, yes, for my 21 days, when I start spring semester, I want to have no vices. No freaking vices. I want to have just like I was doing when I started this podcast, when I started with marijuana. I had my dark chocolate at night, and that's all of those sweets and high I needed. Otherwise, my exercise was great. I was social. I was talking to people, making plenty of friends, doing well at work, doing well at school. Those were all of the drugs I needed. I know nothing wrong with going out and have a drink. Nothing wrong with it. But I don't want it to have a hold on me. So when I come home after my workout and I've done, work on Happy Campers, and I've done a little bit of school, and it's 1:00 and I'm about to break my fast, I don't want to think about having a drink with it. What? No, you don't need to have a drink at 1:00 on a Wednesday. You're not retired and 65 living in Clearwater Beach, Florida. Get your ass out of here, Marsh. So yeah, that's mine. Whatever yours is, I hope you do it too, man. Again, my students out there, 3 weeks until the spring semester, and everyone else, or even you too, what is it, 20? Well, if you listen to on the 26th, 5 days till that new year rolls around. Guess what? You don't have to wait. You don't have to wait till Wednesday, January 1st comes around, baby. You can start today. Thursday, December 29th, 26th. You can start today. You don't have to wait. You can though if you want. But yeah, I wish best of luck to you, and all your loved ones and everyone else around you. Bring people on your journey with you, and I hope you create some good ass habits, and I hope you break some bad ass habits. Best of luck to you, and thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of Happy Campers, episode 25, and talking about habits, building strong habits, building good habits, building positive habits. Remember, change might not be fast. It isn't always easy, but with time and effort, almost any habit can be reshaped. Best of luck at reshaping your habits and creating your new ones. Thank you guys so much for tuning in once again, and like always, take care, my friends.